So today's topic is the harsh truth. Your career is at risk. And the reason why I prepared this LinkedIn Live is because of where we are in the world right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, vagueness about where the economy is going, and the economy is driven by people like you. And when companies are in difficulties, cash flow difficulties, or when they want to scale back, the first people to go are the staff. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I need you to ask something to yourself. How secure do you feel in your job right now? Do you feel extra secure, or do you feel okay, or do you feel kind of vulnerable because of what's happening in the world right now, especially in the last 3 or 4 months? So whatever your answer, I want you to understand something critical. Your sense of security is like being built on quicksand. You can just sink very, very fast. So can the economy. So let me be brutally honest with you. I am a realistic career management practitioner. That comfortable full-time position you think you are in, full-time is the key buzzwords there, it's actually temporary. Your employer's loyalty extends precisely as far as their cash flow, and when there's trouble or when the economy starts to sink and they need to reassess the number of staff that they have. So your full-time job in reality is always, in good times and bad times in an economy, is always in flux and a temporary job. So when the economy is threatening and causing a lot of concern to employers, they look for your positions. They look for expendable positions where they can eliminate and then continue, hopefully, in business, but to a lesser degree, and last out whatever the economy is. So it's not because you're not valuable. It's because in most organizations, people are still treated as costs. You are a dollar value, a pound value, or a euro value on their books, and that's what they are looking at. They are looking to save money, and the biggest expenses in their books are employees. So welcome. I am Martin Buckland, an executive career management practitioner, and I've spent the last 30 plus years, hard to believe, watching patterns of corporate behavior up and down, economic shifts, and career trajectories. And what I'm seeing right now should terrify everyone with a full-time job who isn't actively managing their own career destiny. I'm not being negative. I'm just being truthful. I'm just being realistic, because you never know what's going to happen to your career today, tomorrow, next week, or the week after, or next month, etc. So just let me provide you with a statistic. My local market here in Toronto, Canada, the average number of people laid off for a variety of reasons each week in good economic times is about 1,550 people. So 1,550 people each week in good economic times are laid off in the Greater Toronto area, which is quite a big area. But in the last two weeks, over 12,000 people have been let go. And I know that will probably double in the next week or 2 weeks, or definitely within the next month, because we're held in a vacuum right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen on the world scene, the world economic scene, and you are just as a temporary job, and you are a cost to their bottom line. So That's just what I know through my network, that 12,000. So I suspect you could probably add in maybe another 4 or 5,000 to that. And that's a big number. That is a big number, and that will go up and up and up. So these aren't just numbers. They are careers derailed, people's careers. Families are thrown into chaos. And the most devastating, and that's the most devastating part. And then the crux of it, and this consistently horrifies me. Almost everyone I speak to who's been let go says the same thing. It's quite horrific. I never saw it coming. I never saw it coming. Those words make the hair on the back of my neck stand up, because you should always see it coming. Good career management means that you're managing your career in good economic times and bad economic times, and you are preparing for those bad economic times. So today I'm going to show you why you can't afford to wait until that axe or the guillotine falls. I will reveal the harsh truths about today's employment landscape that nobody wants to talk about. It's not a thing on top of people's agenda that they want to talk about. And most importantly, I'll give you a concrete action plan to seize control of your career destiny, starting today, not the day after you're let go. So this won't be comfortable, but it will be the most important 45 minutes or so you've invested in your career this year. If anybody's online, I haven't seen any comments. Please put your city and just put your city and your name in the comments below. That would be wonderful, please. So let me tell you about Michael, a senior marketing director, 12 years at the same company, multiple promotions, consistently positive reviews, and his team adored him. The company's leadership praised his contributions just a few weeks ago when he had his annual appraisal. But last Tuesday morning, his calendar showed up a surprise 15-minute meeting with his VP and somebody from HR. So his radar went off. By 9:45, he was escorted out the building carrying a small box of personal items. So he was horrified. But he said to me, I just led the most successful, the most revenue-generating campaign in the company's history, he told me, with his voice kind of very low and shaky, unstable of himself. My numbers were excellent, he added. So the truth, none of that mattered. The company needed to cut costs by 15%. That's what they told him before this current quarter closed. So Michael's department was targeted, and that's the end of that particular story. So that could happen to you anytime. Mondays and Tuesdays are the most popular days for terminations, dismissals, canning, whatever, laying off, whatever you want to call it. So your employer is not your manager, your career manager. Let's address some dangerous myths. There is a lot of myths out there about career management and employment. So myth number one, performance equals job security. Reality, as I've just explained, even top performers get cut when companies need to reduce headcount. Myth number two, loyalty will be rewarded. Reality, companies may appreciate your loyalty, but when financial pressure hits, it's rarely factors into those retention decisions. In my view, as a career coach, there is no loyalty to any employer. You are loyal. You are loyal to yourself. You manage your career. You are the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of your own career, not somebody else's, or not, and your company never manage your career. Myth number 3, your manager will fight for you. Reality, your manager likely has limited power in company-wide restructuring decisions. Myth number 4, you'll get warning signs before layoffs. Reality, companies deliberately keep layoff plans quiet to prevent panic and productivity drops. So layoffs normally, as I said a couple of minutes ago, occur on Mondays and Tuesdays. Then myth number 5 is your skills will always be marketable. Reality, skills become obsolete faster than ever before. When you got hired, what you got hired with, your skills, won't keep you employed. You always need to update your education, your skill set, what's coming on the market. Look at how AI has taken the world by storm in the last 4 or 5 years. Who knew about AI maybe 7 or 8 years ago? Very, very few people. Now it's a major skill set. So myth number 6, I just received an outstanding appraisal. Reality, good appraisals are a facade for and shouldn't be taken for granted that your tenure is going to continue. I can't tell you how many people have come to me, well, I just got a great appraisal just 2 or 3 weeks ago. My manager told me I was the best employee and whatever, and then they were terminated 3 or 4 weeks later. So don't, it's not a comfort zone that you've got your you've got a good appraisal in the last few weeks. So here's what I see daily. Professionals in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who've been blindsided by job loss. They're panicking because their resume, their CV, hasn't been updated in years. As a cardinal career management sin, not to keep your resume, your CV up to date. Their LinkedIn profile is essentially a digital business card. That's another career management sin. Their professional network has dried up. They haven't been networking. They haven't put the time and the effort and the investment into keeping up that network. And now they need that network to generate leads. Another career management sin. Their skills have quietly become outdated. Another career management sin. They have no idea on how to navigate into today's hiring landscape. A cardinal career management sin. So you need to keep abreast of what's happening. Job search has changed a lot, especially with the advent of the internet in the last 20 or so years. But now in the last few years, it's changed a lot. And the resume CVs, if your resume, your CV is more than 3 years, you haven't touched it, I'll guarantee that it won't go through that ATS, that applicant tracking system, scanning machinery. So I watch them, people who've been laid off, go through that. It's natural human behavior, the rage, the denial, the panic, and the despair. And they always say, virtually guaranteed, everybody will say, well, why me? Why me? And all of it could have been prevented if they'd recognized one fundamental truth. Your career is your responsibility, nobody else's. It's your responsibility, not your employer's, not your manager's. It's yours. So make sure from today onwards, you embrace executive career management. It's one of the best things you're going to spend time at, and maybe make a financial investment in managing and owning your career. As I said, you are the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of your career. Nothing to do with your employer. As I say, all jobs are temporary. You can be discarded, let go, laid off, canned, terminated, or whatever you want to call it at any particular time in good economies, and as we're seeing now in bad economies, although we're not really in the depths of the bad economy right now, but there have been, we could be sinking into that. So the new career reality is the employment landscape has fundamentally changed. Let me show you, let me tell you how. The end of career ladders, the straight line progression through a company is largely dead. Today's careers are like lattices, like webs, like spiders' webs, not ladders. Movement happens horizontally, diagonally, and laterally. So sometimes even temporary backward to ultimately move forward. Although as a career coach, I don't recommend you do that. Definitely in good times. In questionable times like we're in now, yes, that might be a good option for you to take a step back to retain your employment, but definitely not in good times. So even traditional roles are being reconsidered as project-based work. Companies want flexibility in their workforce. So they need to shift you around. So full-time employees with benefits are expensive. More and more companies are opting for contractors or project-based workers who are easily to scale up and to scale down when times get tough or a project or a particular mandate comes and goes. So skills obsolescence is accelerating. I'm seeing this big time. You need to continually update your skills. So technical skills now have a half-life of about 2 to 5 years. That's not much. That's, experts tell, if you go through an honors program in computer science, a 4-year program, what you learned in the first 1 or 2 years is obsolete by the time that you graduate. So there's a classic example. Obviously, technology goes up and changes far more than traditional skills, but there's a good example. So if you're not continuously learning, you're actively becoming less value. One of the criteria that an executive recruiter or an HR professional looks at when they are looking for talent is most recent education. If your most recent education is anything over 4 years ago, then that is a negative flag, a red flag against you. So loyalty has been redefined. The social contract between you and your employer has fundamentally changed. The company that trained you for 30 years and gave you a gold watch is now extinct. In my father's generation, it was common to be in one company from the day you left high school, college, university, or any other academic institution to the day you retired, and it was common to stay in that company. Now that's considered a no. It's like a cardinal sin. So cost cutting has become a strategy. It's not an emergency. Layoffs used to be the last resort, definitely in my father's generation. And I originally, when I first started becoming a career management practitioner 30 years ago, I thought it was an illness. You had an illness if you'd been laid off and terminated, but it's a fact of life now. Some people actually, believe it or not, position themselves to be terminated so they can build up their severance packages. I've got one client who's very, very clever. He's only in his early 50s and he's already got $1.7 million in severance packages. So that's the opposite way around. So now layoffs are a standard procedure for keeping the company buoyant, keeping the company alive. Or for new funding initiatives. So in reality, you're just a dollar, euro, British pound value on the corporate books. That's the reality. That's the basic of it. That's the truth. So let me be clear. I'm not saying your company is evil or that everyone is about to be fired. What I'm saying is the rules for many years ago now have changed. And if you're playing by the old rule book, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So here is my tips, and I coach around this all the time, week after week after week, for successful career management. So perpetual value creation, constantly upgrading your skills and seeking ways to deliver measurable results. We are in a performance-driven society, and they're looking for you to constantly deliver results. Strategic visibility, ensuring that your contributions are seen by decision makers. The career insurance, building a professional brand that transcends your current employer. Network cultivation, maintaining relationships that can turn into opportunities. So networking is an art in itself. You should network not like this, a very wide. You need to network like a bullseye within a defined audience. The more you define that audience, the better it's going to be for you. But here's a tip. You need to network while you're gainfully employed, not just when you're in career transition. You've just recently been terminated, let go, laid off, or whatever. You need to nurture that network too, keep it going, keep it alive. And particularly with executive recruiters, they want to know when you're having good times, not just bad times. They don't want a panic call to say you've just been laid off and then you haven't spoken to them for 6 or 7 or 8 months. So you need to nurture and consistently build that network. And there are some YouTube videos on my YouTube channel talking about how you can do that. So financial preparedness, having a runway, a bank balance that will cater to your an unexpected career transition. People really get agitated and worried when they are terminated about their finances and how they can support their family and whatever. So you need to be aware. You need to have a sort of a slush fund, a fund that is only used in emergency times. So the professionals who thrive today are the ones who see themselves as independent operators who happen to be working with a current employer, not employees who depend on that the employer, that their employer runs their and manages their career. So you need to take control. And here's an action plan for you to take control. What do you do to snatch control of your career? Starting today, to take over your career destiny, your career management, what's going to happen to you? Ask yourself, well, conduct a skills inventory. So ask yourself these kind of uncomfortable questions. What skills do I have that would be valuable to any employer, not just my current one? So you need to look at that beyond your current employer. Always look beyond your current employer. Which of my skills are becoming less relevant in my industry? What skills are emerging as must-haves in my field, my profession, my industry? So you need to evaluate those. If I had to find a new job tomorrow, what would be my strongest selling point? So you when you go into career transition, you are a salesperson. You are selling yourself. So what would make hiring managers hesitate about my candidacy? What could be a block to them putting you in the talent pool and definitely calling you for an interview? So you need to embrace these. You need to think a lot about these. So be ruthlessly honest with yourself. This isn't about ego. It's about survival. And the more people that manage their career, if they are terminated, I've seen this many, many times, their career transition because they're ready to hop on board. They've got their resume ready. They've got their LinkedIn profile. They've got their network. Reduce their time in career transition by, I'm going to say, by 2/3. So that's in itself, the return on investment for managing your career is vast. So update your career marketing materials now, not tomorrow, next week, put it off. Yes, it's not at the top of everybody's mind to write resumes. I love writing resumes. That's one of my key streams, and I love writing resumes, but many people don't. So don't wait until you're desperate. Right now, while you're employed, you need to start completing your resume. So revitalize your resume. If it's more than 3 years old, I'll guarantee that it probably won't go through that ATS scanning, the applicant tracking system, the scanning application. So it needs to be an ATS friendly to go through that scanning machinery. It needs to be a performance driven document. So we're talking about your accomplishments, not your responsibilities, and as many metrics as you can. So you can build stories around the acronym called STAR. So situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. So STAR stories. Think of it. And it's good for you to refresh. That stuff will come from the back of your mind to the front of your mind when you're documenting those STAR stories. Then transform your LinkedIn profile to a powerful marketing tool. Fully complete your profile with a professional picture, a customized LinkedIn address, a 220 character headline, a 1900 character about section, and fully complete that experience section. Don't leave it vacant, like what I call a skeleton. The more text you put on, the better it's going to be for you, because Google and the LinkedIn algorithms, they combine, and you will receive far more traffic the more text you have on your LinkedIn profile. You need to have the magic number for the Google algorithms is about 69 hard skills and 12 most recent recommendations. So if you've got a recommendation from 2017 or worse still, 2014, what is that going to tell me if I was in the hiring position? So you need to be also active on LinkedIn when you're gainfully employed, not just when you're in career transition. So there's 3 pillars you need to concentrate on in being active. You need to create content. So building your own content, author your own content, write your own content, comment on other people's content, because there's content constantly going through your feed, and then share content and put a comment on that. So maybe to trigger somebody to answer your comment, and then you get some dialogue going, and then the Google and the LinkedIn algorithms can pick you up. So gather specific metrics, so dollar values, pound values, euro values, and percentiles, outcome from your current role while you have them right now. So you need to have at home, probably don't keep it at work. You need to have a brag book. So every time you achieve an accomplishment, like you've saved $1 gazillion, or you've made $1 gazillion, or you streamlined operations, or you've eliminated headcount, introduced new processes and practices, introduced new products, increased the customer base, or a profit margin, you need to document that at home in a brag book and keep all those at home. So when you come to update your resume every 2 or 3 or 4 months, then you have it at your fingertips. So keep your resume, your LinkedIn profile with currency values or percentiles. The more metrics you have, the better it's going to be. You need to collect testimonials, recommendations from your peers, your managers, and clients and suppliers, vendors. Step number 3 is build your professional insurance policy. Your goal is to become recognized for your expertise that transcends your employer. So start sharing insights on LinkedIn 3 times a week. 1 comment, 1 share, and 1 create, built around those 3 pillars. And then you, if you're in mining, you can go to mining.com, or if you're in IT, you can go to it.com and download one of the articles written by a subject matter expert or thought leader who's been selected by those magazines or those online platforms, and then you can comment on it, and you can get some traction from there by commenting. So join industry groups and contribute meaningfully to discussions. Volunteer at these groups. So in your industry associations, volunteer, trying to get onto the executive board. What does that tell you? I mean, if it's a peer nominated board and you've been nominated by your peers to become the finance officer or the treasurer they call it, or the public relations, or the head of that particular chapter or region or national, then that tells the reader at the other end that you're highly regarded within your peer group. So look for speaking opportunities. If you're confident you have a topic to talk about, look for speaking opportunities. They may not pay, but you will get yourself in at a venue where there may be 50, 100, or even 1,000 people in front of you, and you're getting your name known, and people will remember that. So consider creating the content that showcases your expertise all the time. The goal is to make yourself visible to opportunities rather than hiding within your own company. So if you can steer yourself into becoming acknowledged as a thought leader or subject matter expert, because we hire those two, we hire thought leaders, we hold subject matter experts, do it, because it's going to heighten your value immensely when you become a candidate, or when an executive recruiter is searching for talent. Step 4, nurture your network before you need it. So I've talked about this, I've browsed over it, but this is very, very important. It's the worst time to build a network is when you're desperately in job search. So start right now and build your network. And then schedule 1 coffee or virtual catch-up per week with someone in your extended network. Offer to help or support others without an expectation of return. Networking is about giving before taking. Reconnect with former employers intentionally and regularly. So I can't tell you the number of clients that I've had who've reconnected with somebody they worked for 10 or 15 or even 20 years ago. And those people have now gone up the ladder further than my client, and they are now hiring people with their skill sets, and they know that person because they worked with them 10 or 15, 20 years ago. So they know it, and that's a good warm lead. Get involved in your community, non-religious, non-political. Yes, it's okay to belong to a faith-based organization or a political party, but don't put that on your CV, your resume, or your LinkedIn profile. Your network isn't just about who can hire you. It's about who knows what you are capable, who knows you, and what you would vouch for. So who would vouch for you. So you need to become visible within your defined community. Prepare emotionally and financially. Career disruption happens to almost everyone. Preparation for a downturn in the economy, and it's not as if we didn't know this was coming. The indications were that it was going to come, and it's increasing every day. you need to embrace. So looking for the combating your emotions and your finances. You're never going to get over emotions because you're always going to have those rage, that anger, the why me, etc. But see if you can lessen it. So build an emergency fund covering 6 months of expenses. Now, I know that may be hard for many, especially today, but if you can do it, it will help you immensely. Warn your spouse and ask them to rein in expenses. So tell your spouse that you have just been terminated, or you think you're going to be terminated. There's problems with the company and they've just started a downsizing plan, and you think you're going to be in that downsizing. Warn them and tell them to start reining in expenses. Develop healthy coping mechanisms for stress and uncertainty. Create a rainy day action plan you can activate if needed. So if you are axed, you're let go, you're terminated, you're laid off, whatever, you are ready to pick up the pieces almost instantly. Practice telling your professional story in a way that frames transitions as strategic, not desperate. So there was a time many, many years ago where if you were laid off, there was something wrong with you. You were ill or just there was something wrong with you. Now it's a fact of life. And as I mentioned earlier on, people now position themselves to be terminated because it can be, to them, it can be very financially beneficial. So practice telling that story of why you were laid off. If you was laid off because the company had to conserve costs, that's the reason. Be open, be honest. Don't hide it. Don't get into the closet and hide it. That's a fact of life, and that company may have had to go through that issue a few years before. So the emergency response plan. If you've ignored everything I've said so far and suddenly find yourself let go, here's your emergency protocol. The first 24 hours, allow yourself to feel those emotions. So anger, that shock, that fear, but set a time limit. I would actually extend that to more than to about 72 hours or a week. Bite your tongue during the exit meeting. Yes, you're going to be angry. You want to throw stuff around. You want to be venting, whatever. But those people who are exiting you, part of the exit team, also have a network. And I've lost count on how many of my clients have used the people that have let them go, the termination team, and they've given them recommendations, and they've given them leads that has helped them with their job search. So exit with grace and dignity. Inform your inner circle only, so your immediate family and your spouse, your partner. Then review severance details carefully. I mean, this is very, very crucial. They expect you, or they want you to sign your severance package back there and then. Don't do that. You're allowed a set time, and you can negotiate that time further for you to assess that severance package. So don't let them force you into signing a severance package. So ask for a minimum of 72 hours before returning signs. If you feel you deserve more, see an employment lawyer, because they're the experts. But remember, employment law varies from country to country, and then internally state to state or province to province. Ironically, I live in Ontario, Canada, which is probably the best in the world, the best place in the world. If you're going to be terminated, it protects the employees more than it does the employers. And you can get quite a substantial amount of severance in the province of Ontario. Yet the province of Quebec or Manitoba, which bound on Ontario, are totally different. they're still good because Canada is very generous in severance packages, definitely versus the US, which is not good. But then you go to the UK or Europe, and they're pretty damn good too. So you need to consider, well, go to an employment lawyer if you think you're being undercompensated, you're being let go, and without a minor severance. Then you need to start securing references while relationships are warm. So I would suggest that you get if you're just let go because of cost reasons, the downsides of the economy, and there's nothing against your performance, I would ask your boss and your boss's boss and other people lateral to you to give you recommendations for your LinkedIn profile. That will go a long way in helping you through this career transition. Then you need to gather and save all your performance reviews and your achievement documentation. So don't keep them at work. Keep as much stuff at home, because you only get a few minutes to empty your desk when you're at work if you are terminated. So keep your performance reviews, because you never know when you might be can use them, and they also help you when you build your resume and your LinkedIn profile. So what should the first week look like? Update your LinkedIn profile status appropriately, but don't give that intention or that perspective of you desperately seeking work. Craft a realistic and honest narrative about why you were let go, and don't cast yourself as the victim. And then activate your networking protocol, personal outreach to people you believe who need to know that you've been let go initially, and then that you expand into the further network, the larger network, as time goes by. But don't send mass messages. Be very personal in sending those messages. So a name, and maybe refresh there where you met, or have a little maybe sense of humor or whatever. That may be difficult to come by at this stage, but see if you can add that. So establish a structured daily routine that includes or encompasses job search and skill building. Don't let a member of your family, your spouse, or your kids ask you to do things. Treat your job search as a full-time appointment. It's like anything. The more hours you put in your job search, the more rewards will come your way. So I want to be clear. My goal today wasn't to frighten you. It was to awaken you, trigger you to think of yourself over your company loyalty. So I'll repeat that again. I want to be clear. My goal today wasn't to frighten you. It was to awaken you, trigger you to think of yourself over company loyalty. The harsh truth is that your career is at risk if you're passively letting your employer determining your path. But empowering that truth is that you have the ability to take control. Take control of your career from now onwards, starting today. Shift your mindset from employee to value creator who happens to work at your company. Update your your professional materials as if your job depended on it, because it does. You might, in good times and in bad times, you might get a tap on the shoulder from an executive recruiter for another job that may be your dream job, but your resume isn't up to date, or it's 4 years old, or whatever. Well, what's that going to tell the executive recruiter at the other end? So begin by building that visibility outside of the walls of your current employer. So in your association, in your industry, attend trade shows, conferences, symposiums, or whatever, local, maybe regional and national. And nurture those relationships that you build. Develop new skills that make you valuable regardless of industry trends. So I will wrap this up by remember, The best time to prepare for disruption was 5 years ago. The best time is today. So the best time to prepare for career disruption was 5 years ago. The best time is today. Okay. The second best time is today. So you need to embrace what I've just said today. So thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable and would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Martin Buckland, you will find a vast array of videos encompassing all facets of executive career management. So I'm hoping that people did at least come online, although they might not be able to comment because I haven't got any comments. If anybody's got any comments, I'll hang around. I'm more than happy to do that. But yes, to wrap it up, I am seeing a downturn in employment across the world, in particular the US and Europe. Not too much here in Canada right now, although I did mention that big one in Toronto. But yes, you need to embrace executive career management, and you take control of your career, not let your employer control your career. So I will end this right now. Thanks for listening, and I will be back with my usual 3 lives a week next week. You have a wonderful weekend, and to the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day tomorrow.